The first part of the process is to create a CAD drawing. This drawing here is a representation of the bridge that I want to build. So I create all of these different parts and then assemble them in the CAD program. And this way I can check the design for mistakes, make sure everything works the way I want it to work conceptually, and then also I can remove certain pieces, individual pieces, and then send those to, for example, these were sent to a laser cutter, and the laser cutter company fabricates those brackets for me, and then I can check and make sure those will fit into my final assembly. Here's an example of some of the material that we'll be using. This is a piece of aluminum angle. The first step in fabrication would be to rough cut some of the raw material. So first I'm going to put it into the saw. I'm going to measure my length. Tighten it in the vise and cut the piece. So after the rough cut, I take the piece and I cut whatever angle or fit that needs to be produced. And then once I have that angle, I cut the other end until I can get it to be the exact length that I want it to be. In this case, I want this truss to fit in here, just so, and line up with the center mark here and the center mark here. Once I've made this piece, I can use it as a guide and copy it, because in this case I have to make about 16 of them. So then I'll take this length and check it against the one that I know is good. And that's my finished length. So here's a different saw, it's a chop saw. I have my finished length marked onto the piece, and I will check that against where the blade's landing. And then I'll tighten it in this vise here. Then I can cut the rough cut, I can cut to a specific finished length. So now I come over to a third saw because I have some small sections that I want to remove and it's too much to grind off. So I'm going to use this saw just to take off these small bits of material. To get off the last little bit of material and to give it a better, cleaner finish, we use a belt grinder, and I'll just take off the last little bit of material. Alright. After grinding it, I have a very smooth finish with no burrs on it, and it's at the finished length now. So once I've made all my cuts, I'll come back and make sure the fit is good before I drill any of my holes. Once I have my pieces cut and they're ground to the right length, then I'll set it up to drill the holes. Because I have to make so many pieces, I've made a drill guide. So this piece will be used for all of the similar pieces so that I can put all of the holes in their correct place. So I'll put the guide down next to the piece, clamp it in place. And then I'll use my guide holes to drill all of the holes. Once I've drilled all the holes, I'll use the guide hole to then put the correct finish size hole in that exact location. Here's some of the pieces that were laser cut. I bolted some of them together, and then the rest I'll take and check to see that the holes that I drilled line up with the holes in the bracket. Once I've checked that, then I can begin attaching all of the angle pieces to the individual brackets. And we're using screws in this case with a nut on the back. And then basically I just put piece by piece in until the bridge starts to take shape. I'll build one side, then the other side, then connect it with the loading frame. And then in the end, I will put all of the trussing in. So there will be more structural members to hold it together. For this bridge, when I'm done with it, I don't think there will be any weak points. I've tried my hardest to make it perfect, so I don't think it will fail catastrophically in any way.